Shabbat Shalom, PJC. Good Shabbos. It is cold out here, but it is great to know that we still have a space. And Baruch Hashem, even though many of you are not yet able to join us, know that we are meeting. We're davening every single Shabbos. It's inspiring, and the participation warms us up. This Shabbos is Parshas Vayishlach. It's a wonderful parsha. I say that every week, but I mean it every week. This week, it's really a wonderful parsha. It's the transformation of Yaakov from being this timid, shy, I hesitate to even use the word underwhelming, but maybe underwhelming personality, into him blossoming into this, what we would describe as one of the avos. He becomes this assertive personality. He can stand up to his father-in-law. He can confront Esav. He confronts Shimon and Levi after they perform what is a shocking act. Yaakov becomes someone who is driven. He becomes someone who is dynamic and sets the tone for the Jewish people throughout history. Here's my question this week. In one of the most famous incidents, Yaakov is moving his family over the Jabbok River, over the Nachal Yabok, and he forgets some things behind, right? He forgets some things on the other bank of the river. And so the Torah tells us he goes back to collect those small items, the pachim katanim, the small items. And V'yivati Yaakov levado, Yaakov finds himself by himself, Vayei ish imo ad alos shachar, and he is confronted by a personality that has captured the imagination of rabbis and Torah students throughout the generations, that there is this nondescript, unidentified person who is fighting with Yaakov. The sages, the commentators says this is not a human being, this is the angel of Esav, but that's not what the words, the text itself suggests. This is an anonymous human being. And we know that Yaakov does not walk away unimpacted by the struggle. Though he is victorious, though he succeeds, Yaakov walks away injured. And the Torah tells us, the Torah informs us that because Yaakov was injured in the sciatic nerve, for the rest of history, the Jewish people refrain from eating the Gid Hanashe, refrain from consuming the sciatic nerve of any animal. And the question is simply this: there are so many events in Jewish history. There are so many events in Sefer Bereshit that are seminal, that are significant. Why is this the one event that we commemorate every time we put a piece of meat in our mouth? And it is not the Gid Hanashe. We are commemorating that Yaakov got into the fight with this nondescript human being. The suggestion I would like to make is that we, in the end of the day, as the descendants of Yaakov, hold some responsibility in the fact that our Abba, our forefather, was injured. Why did Yaakov go over that river by himself to get what he needed? Why was he left alone? Shimon and Levi were worthy bodyguards, and yet no one in the family of Yaakov thought to go back with him to get the small stuff, to help him move whatever was left. Everyone looked at Yaakov and said, okay, you got it. You're the Yabba. You go take care of it. No big deal. And the fact that we were negligent as his children in protecting him, we have to refrain. We have to restrain ourselves for the rest of history from partaking in the limb that was injured in that great battle. There's one other important lesson. The lesson is that this is a hard struggle for Yaakov. There's no way Yaakov can overcome his enemy. Yaakov is injured, and he limps for the rest of his life because of this experience. It's a tremendous adversity that Yaakov feels. And when the battle is over, and it's somewhat of a stalemate, this anonymous man wants to leave. He wants to flee. He says, I got to go before the sun rises. I got somewhere to be. And Yaakov says, you're not going until you give me a bracha. You're not going until you give me a blessing. And that teaches us such an important lesson about adversity. Adversity is hard. We walk away from the challenging things in our lives, often limping. We walk away changed, sometimes not for the better. Gamzu Latov, this is for the good, is a hard value. Sometimes we walk away limping. The matter of the fact is the world is forever changed by the pandemic we're living through. Humanity is more than limping through this experience. What does Yaakov say? Whenever you face something difficult, even if it changes you, even if it injures you so deeply, so profoundly, you have to work to find the bracha, no matter what. You have to work to find the blessing, no matter what the adversity you face, no matter how difficult and how disabling it is. And so we are presented with two values of critical importance. Value number one, we can never leave each other alone. When facing your demons, it's so much harder to face them. It's so much more dangerous to face them when you're alone. And number two, when facing your demons, when going through adversity, you have to anchor yourself in the hope that there is blessing to be found there. We are challenged so fundamentally as a community in the loneliness that now defines our existence. By definition, we are disconnected from each other because we have to be. We have to work to find blessings in our lives, to connect with each other in different ways, to figure out ways to support each other. There are people in our community who need the connections. There are people in our community who need the support. And I would venture to suggest that we all do. Not only those who are struggling, who are going through difficulties, but each and every one of us are facing a challenge together. And the answer, the blessing that we can find here is to prioritize connecting with each other, to making a phone call, to saying hello, to dropping off a gift or a kind present. The challenge we face is big. It feels a little bit overwhelming at times. But Yaakov gives us a legacy. Gives us a legacy that we not leave each other alone. And he gives us a legacy, provides us a mission that we work hard to find the bracha in it all. Wishing each of us continued good health, happiness. Wishing each of us a Shabbat Shalom, a Shabbos of peace. Good Shabbos.